Hello again. I have a question for you. Can you craft Terraria's longest recipe without going insane? 1600 recipes, some of the hardest bosses in the modded community, full-time enrolled in college while making zero money for doing any of it. Last video, I killed the wall of flesh, a simpleton's task. After 30 hours and getting stuck at Plantera, I gave up and decided to make the first video before I killed the Moonlord. And now, here I am. All I have to do is kill the Moonlord. If only he was exponentially more difficult. Now, you may be wondering how I killed him. Well, first the mechanical bosses, then mining, tearing your hair out, fighting Plantera, going crazy. Oh hey, Golem was easy. What the heck? And it all begins with the hammer. Is what I wish I could say. This hammer is useless. Breaking demon altars does not bless your world with ores and calamity. Killing the mech bosses does that. So I have to be a sad little man in cobalt armor if I want to fight the first mech boss. And the mech bosses get harder each time you kill one. Okay, so how do you kill the mechs? Luckily, there's not much to prep. I fought the wall of flesh with bee nades last time, and today the destroyer falls to the bees as well. For some reason, this weapon is busted. Hey, if you enjoy my content, subscribe. If you don't enjoy my content, that's fine, but give me watch hours. Both of the other bosses get wrecked by a hollow mimic drop. This is called the Celestial Claymore. It summons stars right on top of your cursor, which then slowly go back towards your character, letting you deal much damage from a distance. Skeletron Prime is a solid challenge, so how do you kill him? Well, in Infernum, the arms must go first, out of necessity, because the head has a force field until the arms die. After that, you must use an ancient technique passed down by my ancestors. Standing still. The craziest of moves that hasn't been dared to be tried in ages. Unfortunately, this tactic is not foolproof, and sometimes you'll have to move. In fact, you'll have to strafe. But eventually his health bar is worn down, and be prepared for the final attack. You will need an actual ranged weapon for this part. Oh hey look, standing still was still the answer. As far as I can tell, the twins are the hardest fight, but because mech bosses scale off of how many mech bosses you've killed, I can't actually know that. I never fought them at their weakest, I only fought them at their strongest. And the boss fight is largely a game of luck. You fly up and down, you fly diagonally when they circle you, and you just kind of hope things miss. After both of them are in their second phase, and you kill one of them, you'll never guess what the two bosses that look like they were friends do when one of them dies. In rage time. Who would have guessed? This phase seems like even more luck because there's even more projectiles that I don't know how to tell the pattern, but just react to them and dodge them. And of course, since it's the final mech boss, when you kill it, there's another phase. When you're down and out, they really hit you with a fourth phase to this. Oh wait. Never mind. We're good. Do you feel like you're being watched? I feel like I'm being watched. Now that's a meta joke, because my character's being watched. As I'm watching my character be watched by another guy watching him, as you're watching me watch him watch my character get watched by me being watched by you. Now the question is, how do you kill Plantera, the tormentor of my dreams? Poor little 8-year-old PB on his phone, confused about how you're supposed to kill Plantera, until he discovers that, oh, hey look, when you're in the potions menu, the potion goes down and nothing happens in the game. So you can drink as many potions as you want, as long as you're willing to wait a minute watching the timer go down, and she can't hit you, so you're just gonna spam this, because this boss is crazy. There are 3 things that are very helpful for Plantera: the Ponage Hammer, Chlorophyte/Turtle Armor, and Luckily, all of this is really easy to get. The Ponage Hammer is simply obtained by killing all of the mech bosses and using their souls to craft a weapon out of the Pone Hammer that drops 100% of the time from the wall of flesh. This is a ranged melee weapon that deals crazy damage. And the Chlorophyte Armor is gotten by using the Drax in the jungle mining Chlorophyte. Very, very easy. Now, you can farm turtle shells for turtle armor if you need to, but I didn't because I'm kinda stupid. Plantera's first phase is very simple. Make a circle around her until she goes into her second phase. This fight is still the bullet helliest of the Terraria fights, up to this point, and the worst of the good fights. As she enters second phase, she's going to throw out all of these green particle thingies. Do not touch any of them. They are going to be part of the bullet hell for the rest of the fight. She'll throw out more. And the other thing you need to watch out for is she's going to section off parts of the arena, and you'll have to dodge her rushing at you in a single section. That's why you need the platform. You always need her to do this where you have somewhere to land, or else it's extremely hard. Past that, just make sure to put yourself in one of the openings when she does her little circle of death thingy so that you don't get hit. The thing about that is you need to have her on screen as much as possible so you know when it's happening, or else it's going to be really hard to get into the right section of the screen. As Plantera falls, the temple opens, and I lost all of my footage for the Golem fight. I know. PB, how do you lose footage? I have no idea. It's all supposed to be in the same spot, but Golem was still a pushover, and no one cares about him, so moving on. And me, playing vanilla Terraria, I got the turtle armor so that I could make beetle armor. You want to know how you make beetle armor? In Calamity? With chlorophyte. So I spent hours killing turtles for literally nothing. The Lunatic Cultist is exactly what he used to be, except all of his attacks got a massive buff. More fireballs that do insane damage, tracking thunderbolts, tracking blue bolts, and more. This is actually one of the more fun fights that I've had in this game. It's very well balanced. The bullet hell is actually very enjoyable, unlike Plantera's random garbage. And I just had a lot of fun. I also gotta say, I really like what Calamity did, or Infernum, whichever one added it, with these last attacks that are just kind of cool, and usually get you killed the first time. As always, the pillars fall, but with flair this time, because each has their own individual gimmick and boss fight. Still not really worth focusing on, but fun. After slaying the last pillar, I just need to go back to base and do a little prep before... Oh crap! So how do we kill that? Well, a couple of things. The Entropic Claymore is a craftable from the pillar drops. This weapon fires 5 homing projectiles that deal massive damage. We can also kill the Astrum Deus for the materials to craft it, but more importantly, the Astrum Deus drops the best healing potions and more celestial fragments in case you need them. So kill him a couple of times. Don't worry, the Solar Flare eats through his health bar like it's butter. We can also kill the Empress of Light for a very good summoning item. Don't ask me how, but I broke her AI, so almost the easiest fight ever. The last thing we can do to prepare is craft everything we have available that makes the Soul of the Master. Remember this thing? The crafting recipes? Some of these recipes are actually useful even without finishing them. And at this time, I can use almost every single boss drop simultaneously if I craft them. Dubious Security, Pure Heart, Lump of Flesh, and the Galactic Globe. With all of this, it still took many attempts and lots of death, but eventually, I looked into the Matrix and I mastered the patterns. Here's my best advice for how to do this fight. One of, if not the hardest fight I've done in Terraria, harder than all of the Get Fixed Boy fights. The first phase of this fight consists of a loop of attacks. Memorize the pattern so you know what is coming next. Lasers followed by bullet spam, eyes shoot out, downward bullets, and repeat. Make sure to kill the top eye when the bottom two are low, and kill the bottom two as close to each other as possible. If you don't do this, you can accidentally cause there to be an extra phase to the boss fight. The first thing he does when one of the eyes dies is do this little circle spiral of bullets thingy. You need to be moving as you're dodging the circle, because there's also these little white things that go to where you currently are and explode. Once all 3 eyes are dead and that one attack is over, he's going to cycle through random attacks. I've never seen a pattern in which ones he chooses, but each of them needs to be reacted to in their own way. This fireball one is best reacted to by just figuring out where the fireballs go. I don't know, there's kind of openings sometimes, and you just gotta find the opening and get through to the other side. Sometimes the eyes are just going to charge at you, and this is another one of those things where once you hear the zinger noise, where they scream, you have to go in a direction that they aren't already hitting, because their tracking is too good to keep going in the same direction. Sometimes there's going to be random bullets literally everywhere, and you just gotta dodge as one of the eyes charge at you as it shoots. This is one of the attacks where you're just gonna take some damage, unless you're insane and did one of those no-hit fights, which I couldn't imagine. Once you have those patterns down, your next thing you need to do is deal damage. Now, once you deal enough damage, he enters another phase where he spawns a black hole. So this black hole turns it into even more of a bullet hell, and you just need to be paying attention and dodging, drinking potions when necessary. And that leaves us with one more section of the game, post-Moonlord, fighting the Supreme Witch Calamitous. Up to this point, I've at least played the vanilla side of things. I haven't ever even experienced the Calamity side of things from here on out. So, wish me luck, subscribe for seeing it next time as I continue this awful recipe of 1,600 individual crafting recipes, and have a good day. Bye.